I've watched Bill Burr for over 20 years. I listened to his podcast before there was even podcasts, and he used to call it on his phone through Gcast. I listened to Uninformed with Joe DeRosa. I've seen the man slaughter 30-person comedy rooms. I saw Bill Burr at the Opie and Anthony Traveling Virus Tour. Not the Philly rant, I saw him in New Jersey. He helped maintain the Boston comedy scene, which is long since dead. And ironically enough, what killed it was the PC, everyone getting offended liberals that he seems to align with now. Before we get into clips from Bill Burr's special Drop Dead Years, let me walk you through what old Billy Bolshevik has been saying and how the largest leftist political streamer in the world, Hasan Piker, who is an open and proud communist, seems to enthusiastically agree with most everything Shill Burr says. Mind you, if Nazis agree with the right about immigration, the left considers that an implication or a dog whistle on the right.
And communism is yet another thing that gets a bad rap. Communism gets it doesn't work, it doesn't fucking work.
And these fucking billionaires, they need to be put down. You know, like fucking rabid dogs. Murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude. Oh my god, in a video game.
Last week you mentioned you don't know why people demonize socialism. I was really taken aback at that statement. Oh, Jesus Christ. Every country that has tried socialism has failed, and it's responsible for tens of millions of deaths. All right, so would you say capitalism is working? You don't think capitalism is responsible for tens of millions of deaths?
Bill, capitalism is a mode of exchange for goods and services. Communism kills people because when they want to grow food, the government says, well, we will decide how much food you need, and then it turns out they don't get enough food and they die of starvation. Great famines. No one dies of starvation under capitalism. The deaths under capitalism are through people's choices. And then if you're going to blame what our government does overseas, that isn't capitalism under any definition.
You're really sort of looking the other way with what capitalism has done to other countries. All the sweatshop labor. Okay, socialism all starts the same way. Create a boogeyman like corporations, the rich, or a race. Slowly the government starts to control every aspect of your life. Buddy, I can't fucking read all of this horseshit. This is everything that we're doing too.
Yeah, Bill. Everything we're doing isn't capitalism. When the government intervenes and the government does stuff, capitalism isn't when the government does stuff. When the government does stuff, that's when you're veering more toward totalitarianism, like communism or socialism, where there's only one party. Bill Burr thinks that overt and aggressive government intervention and violation of constitutional liberties is somehow capitalism.
Now, you know what? Let's just read all of this because it's fucking hilarious that he's acting like none of this is happening in this country. Why does this sound so familiar? Promise that aren't they like recording all our phone conversations now? And we're slowly on our way to getting microchipped?
This would be identical, virtually indistinguishable from a regular old Hasanabi broadcast take, dude. Holy
If he wants to take on the bankers and have them be accountable. If he wants to do anything on that, this guy's a socialist. And all you mouth-breathing morons believe it. You know what I really enjoy? Actually, the fact that they shit on communism and they act like capitalism is working. Like capitalism works. That we are so broke. You know, you realize a politician isn't a scumbag. He's immediately branded a socialist or a communist if he wants to do anything for the people.
Let's invert that. You want to know how you know a politician is not a scumbag? It's if he's called a Nazi, or a transphobe, or a fascist, or a dictator. If he wants to do anything that goes against the left for the people of his country. But you didn't come here to hear me talk. You came here to hear me mock. So let's see if old Billy No-Spine's agitative propaganda for the proletariat has seeped into his new special Drop Dead Years.
That's why I fucking hate liberals. No, don't get excited. I fucking hate conservatives too, because you're all a bunch of fucking racists. All right? Now, I know that's a blanket statement, but I'm just trying to speak your language.
So you should know that he recorded this in Seattle, which is Portland, Oregon light, okay? It's a little bit less socialist than Portland, Oregon. So when he says he hates liberals, half of the crowd is like, yeah, that's not us. We also hate liberals. We're socialists. We're illiberal. That's Bill's new target audience. So he doesn't like conservatives because they're racist. But wait a minute, why does he not like liberals? Is it because they can't say what a woman is, or they're convincing kids that they're born in the wrong body and they can switch genders and they're mutilating them. So conservatives are racist. Let's see what his gripe is with liberals.
What I fucking hate about liberals is you don't do shit other than covering your own ass with your dumbass fucking signs. No, liberals, you got to get over your fear of the gun. That's what's going to turn this country around. You got to embrace guns. No, embrace them.
Oh dear. Okay, so they should get guns in like a truly American sense, right? Where they should use them for defensive protection. They shouldn't proactively go out and just do like drive-by shootings or anything. Because, I mean, if he was gonna tell liberals to attack someone, it would be the racists, you know? Like the racist conservatives, so thank God it's just to protect themselves from the racist conservatives.
Level the playing field out. That's what's going to stop these hate groups, I think, anyways. Because they're not afraid, because they're armed and you're not. So basically, what's going to turn this country around is the day a vegan beta male with a man bun does a drive-by in a Prius at a Klan rally and exposes them for the faggots they really are. Nothing's going to happen. I know I said faggots, but, I was worried I was getting too preachy. You know what I mean? I don't want you to feel like I'm not dirty, too.
Hello, fellow kids. I also use potty words. Hilarious. Hey, liberals, you're a bunch of pussies that are afraid of guns. What you should do is go and get guns and do drive-by shootings against your political opposition. I know he said the KKK, but the left thinks Trump is the KKK. I mean, they think MAGA are fascists, racist, Nazis, dictators. It's all the same thing to them. So, I mean, what is that messaging, really?
You know what's funny is I don't think anybody joins the Klan anymore, you know? That's like your great-great-great-grandfather's hate group, you know? I don't like blacks or Jews or fucking queers. God made me in his image, and Jesus looked at me, he fucking kick ass. As a white person, you don't want to join the Klan, right? You want to join a younger, hipper, white nationalist group. Right? Like the neo-Nazis or the Proud Boys, with their little fades, and their little okey-doke thing. They stick their pee-pees through or whatever the secret handshake is. I don't know. I don't pretend to know these things.
Well, Bill, I know you holistically admit to not knowing what the heck you're talking about, but does this look like a white nationalist Proud Boy to you? Oh, okay. Let's try this picture of John Kinsman. See how he's next to a black cop and he's not hitting her? Some white nationalist, huh? Okay, fine. Here's his black wife and black kids. That's right, Bill. The media on the left made him seem like a Nazi, even though he has a black wife and black kids. Just like you, Bill. The only difference is, people on the left tried to make his wife seem racist against herself because she's with a white nationalist and has kids with him. They degraded her because the media said he was a white nationalist, Bill. Don't feel bad, buddy. You'll make a mistake one day and the tides will turn. But it makes sense why Bill doesn't understand nationalism in any capacity.
That's my favorite. The giant American flag off the back, like we don't know what country we're in. Like, just in case you forgot, you're in America. Beep, beep. I don't know, that just blows my mind. It's like, it's 2024. All of these people got in trouble, got canceled and shit. You know what I mean? Never came around to the Klan.
Well, Bill, when people that aren't on the left make a club, and there's too many white people in it, people like you compare them to the KKK, even though their leader was named Enrique Tarrio. They have non-white members, which then the media casted the Proud Boys as multiracial white supremacists, and they even have black kids. Also, I love how Bill has to go full commie and just anti-nationalist. Why are you waving around your flag? Is it to remind the people of the country you're in? How much more of a hack line could you possibly have? People wave their flags because they're nationalists, because they like their country, but the left calls them racists. Hey, the KKK waves the flag as well, don't they, Bill? We're gonna add that to the list of drive-bys. People waving their flags are automatically racist? But hey, it's just comedy. Bill Burr wouldn't support an execution in broad daylight for political reasons.
Yes. Free Luigi. I love how they acted surprised. Why did that happen? I have no idea. He wrote on the bullets why it happened.
Oh, we're back to Luigi. Okay, yeah.
I never left Luigi.
Not
Free
okay.
Luigi!
Now, there's been a lot of speculation as to Bill Burr's wife radicalizing him further and further left. Here's the correct answer. Bill Burr has always been primed to go further and further left. He used to get into arguments with Anthony Cumia about black issues. Bill Burr was always, could never, I don't think he's ever said a single bad thing about a black person in his entire life. And before you say, like, well, his wife couldn't influence him that much, I want you to realize that Colin Kaepernick went public with his girlfriend in February of 2016. He was kneeling by September of 2016, and by 2017, he fought the white part of his genetics as hard as humanly possible and grew this atrocious afro. Also, anyone that's listened to Bill Burr's podcast has known that Nia has been a nagging cunt the entire time, okay? This is not that f***ing surprising.
Currently, I am getting along with my wife better than I ever have in the 20 years that I've known her. Yeah, I figured something out.
Oh, after 20 years, Bill, huh? You know what else happens in 20 years? Let's hear ex-KGB Soviet Yuri Bezmenov tell you what happens in 15 to 20 years.
The first stage of subversion is the process which is called basically demoralization. It takes from, say, 15 to 20 years to demoralize.
A single Bill Burr.
Why 15 or 20 years? This is the time sufficient to educate one
Bill Burr.
I think in the back nine, I'm just going to try to be a little more agreeable.
Yeah, you know, I'll hear some stuff that sounds absolutely crazy, but I'm just gonna start to agree with it. I got my Hollywood pals now. I'm an elite in Hollywood, and yeah, it's easier if I just agree and don't push back against any of the crazy stuff that I hear.
Whenever she was going to ask me to do something with her that she thought maybe I didn't want to do, all of a sudden she would take on like this eggshelly kind of voice, you know? I just went like, all right, cool, sounds like fun. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I swear to God, she went, yay. And then she came over and she gave me the sweetest little peck on my cheek. Yeah, I felt that jolt of love you feel in the beginning of the relationship. I want more of that in my relationship. I'm gonna try some more of this agreeing shit. This is pretty good.
Classic, withdrawing affection when she doesn't get what she wants, and then when she gets what she wants, she gives affection. I mean, that's probably gonna keep continuing the more he agrees, right?
And I just go, yeah, sure, you know, sounds great. And she was just like, wow, you are being such a good sport lately. And now I'm waiting for that peck on the cheek, but it doesn't come, right? She just stands her ground. Because, you know, women, you give them an inch, they want to take a mile, right? So she's just standing there. I was also thinking,
This is starting to remind me of an older Bill Burr bit when he was still with Nia before she was his wife.
dude, there is an epidemic of gold-digging whores in this country. And every night I put on the news, and I'm waiting for someone to address it. Every night, never see it, you know? And every night I bring up gold-digging whores, and the whole crowd pulls back like I'm up here talking about Bigfoot, right? Like I'm saying the moon's made out of cheese or something. Talking about whores, people. They're everywhere. How many? How many more great men are going to get chopped in half before we do something? Why is it so quiet in here? God damn, I don't get it. What is it? Is it women? Do you think I'm calling you? I'm not calling any woman here a whore, okay? So don't pull back. That's not fair, okay? If you brought up wife beaters, I wouldn't like pull back. I get it. There's guys hitting women, they need to be stopped. We gotta understand that gold-digging whores are the wife beaters for men.
Then in the same special, he's talking about how Nia was smacking his headphones so hard they were spinning around his head. Odd. Would you say that's pretty demoralizing? I mean, there's plenty of ways to describe a situation with your significant other for a comedy special that doesn't involve her smacking headphones that are on your head multiple times. But let's listen.
I was just thinking about my relationship. I'm like, this is the relationship I'm in? You're just gonna do whatever the hell you wanna do, right? And fuck me? Fine, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I wanna do. I feel like listening to my iPod on full blast, walking around the house. That's what I'm gonna do. So that's what I did. Turned it all the way up, and my whole plan was just to walk by her like I didn't even know her. That was it. She came down the hall, I just ghosted her. Just walked right past her. just trying to piss her off. And I gotta tell you something, worked like a charm. Worked like a charm. Yeah, hung my coat up, turned around. By the time I turned around, she was already yelling at me. But the music was so loud, not only could I not hear her, it actually looked like she was singing the song that I was listening to. It's one of the highlights of the relationship. So I knew what she was saying. I was like, whatever, I don't want to talk about it. Leave me alone. I'm going onto the computer, right? So I limp over and I sit down, and unbeknownst to me, she's like, no, we're going to talk about this right now. Comes out, poof, and slaps the headphones off my head. I got big ears. It fucking hurt. So I'm like, honey, leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. Put the headphones back on. She comes right back up again. Poof, slaps them off a little harder. This time they spin halfway around my head. Caveman DNA starts coming up. Talking through my teeth. Honey, leave me alone. Don't want to talk about it, right? Put them on. Third time she comes out. Poof, slaps him right across the room, and I snap. I'm like, fine. You want to have the fight? Let's fucking have the fight. She's like, we will discuss this later when you calm down. Really is. That's the thing. I hate that saying there's no reason. Obviously, I'm not saying to hit a woman, you know? But saying there's no reason, I think that's crazy. When you say there's no reason, that kills any sort of examination as to how two people ended up at that place. If you say there's no reason, whew, you cut out the build-up, you're just left with the act. How are you going to solve it if you don't figure it out? Look how awkward it is in here right now.
Oh yeah, Bill, you're not projecting at all. Your wife bullies you around, and so you want to call liberals cowards and pussies because they just hold their signs up. What do you want them to do instead, Bill? So on one hand, Bill is saying the liberals are pussies and they're virtue signaling and they just hold up signs. And on the other hand, he's saying free Luigi, someone that murdered a CEO in cold blood in the middle of the day in public. So what's in between those two things, Bill? You big tough guy? Can't even stand up to your fucking wife, you fucking pussy? But then you want to try to radicalize other people to be like, hey, the liberals are cowards, you guys don't do anything. You just sit there and take it. What else should they do, Bill? You never say what else they should do. You don't say they should vote. You don't say they should call their congressman. So what are you saying, tough guy, Bill?
And I've never gotten along with her better. That's basically what it is. All you have to do to make them happy is just once a month agree to some shit that you would never fucking do.
Bill, do you have any idea how much Patrice O'Neal will be chewing your ass out for not being able to understand that she kissed you on the cheek and then you gave her what she wanted again, and then she didn't kiss you on the cheek and asked for more stuff? So now you think it's once a month. You moron, it's gonna be once every 3 weeks, once every 2 weeks. You really are so easy to manipulate. What a useful idiot you are for the left.
Yes, exactly. Basically, what you guys are looking at here is a broken man. After 20 years, she finally got the saddle on my back. She's petting my neck. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Which way do you want me to pull the wagon?
This is what bothers me. The only other people that say kill billionaires are communists. Meanwhile, they call people Nazis for things that are moderately liberal, like securing the border. They call people Nazis for things that Nazis and non-Nazis do. Meanwhile, Bill Burr, with no spine, admits his wife got him to stop using the word
I know I said f***its, but I was worried I was getting too preachy. You know what I mean? I don't want you to feel like I'm not dirty too. You know, it's funny, my wife got me to stop saying that word, right? Like the 2000s, she got me to stop saying the word. I swear to God, this is a true story.
He's out here saying propaganda that only communists say. Kill billionaires? In just 2019, Bernie Sanders was blaming the millionaires and billionaires.
When in recent years, we have seen a proliferation of millionaires and billionaires at the same time.
Then the left dropped the millionaires because they started becoming millionaires and just started to focus on billionaires. Protect your neck, Billy No-Balls. Who do you think they come for after the billionaires? The millionaires. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Only the most prolific of cowards say, you people are a bunch of pussies, dude. You just sit there and take this shit. My wife lets me go pee-pee standing up on our anniversary. Meanwhile, the politically violent communists are using Bill Burr as normalizing agitative propaganda to promote such politically violent behavior. Bill already called Elon a Nazi.
Guy comes in and gives a shout out to Hitler. I don't know, but then somehow that gets like politicized. I'm not trashing Republicans. All Republicans did not Sieg Heil. That guy did, and I was just amazed that all liberals had was one day of outrage. And they're like, all right, I guess that didn't work. And then we just kind of move on.
Yeah, Bill, you don't know why it's so politicized. You're just saying the guy is saluting Hitler. And you don't know why it's so politicized. And liberals aren't doing anything about it. Meanwhile, they're out vandalizing Cybertrucks with swastikas. Editor's note, liberals are now setting Teslas on fire. Wow, only took 2 days. Bill, you're calling liberals pussies and calling conservatives racist and then telling liberals to arm themselves, not defensively to protect themselves, but to mow down the KKK, in which you've already called Elon a Nazi, so that just means the right, while glorifying someone who murdered another human in broad daylight. You see, Bill likes to trash how the elites will send our sons and daughters overseas, fighting a war that they don't have to fight. Meanwhile, Bill gets to sit in his ivory tower, piss people off, tell them to go get guns, and stop being such pussies, all while he's a slave to his f***ing wife. On the right, if there's Nazis agreeing with you about the border, they compare you to Nazis. Meanwhile, Bill Burr gets to say exactly what communists say in terms of justifying political violence, while there's definitionally communist political violence happening. Imagine if all of a sudden there's a bunch of swastikas on some Subaru Outbacks. Yeah, I'm sure the left wouldn't twist that to some sort of hate crime, right? But I can't even compare Bill Burr to a communist. Go take a long walk off a short bridge. Have a good one.
Dude, there is an epidemic of
Communists
in this country. And every night I put on the news and I'm waiting for someone to address it. Every night, never see it, you know? And every night I bring up
communists.
And the whole crowd pulls back like I'm up here talking about Bigfoot, right? Like I'm saying the moon's made out of cheese or something. Talking about commies, people. They're everywhere. How many? How many more great men are going to get chopped in half before we do something? Why is it so quiet in here?